I still remember the night she told me it was over. There wasn't shouting or broken glass, just a calm sentence that split 10 years of our life clean in two. "Evan," she said quietly, her voice stripped of warmth. "I can't do this anymore." It was a Thursday, the kind of ordinary evening that tricks you into thinking tomorrow will look the same. We sat in the living room, pretending to watch a show neither of us cared about. Her fingers kept spinning her wedding ring, that small, nervous habit she had whenever something inside her hurt. My chest tightened. "Do what anymore?" I asked, though I already knew. "This," she said, motioning between us. "The pretending, the silence, the distance. I don't feel like we're us." Her words didn't hit like a blow. They settled, quiet but final, like dust falling on a closed grave. For months, I'd felt her slipping away. The missing touch on our walks. The way she'd scroll through her phone at dinner, nodding to words she didn't hear. I'd tried. Small gestures, weekend plans, flowers she forgot to put in water. But I hadn't realized she'd already left in her heart. She wasn't angry. Somehow that made it worse. Anger still means you care. But she looked at me with the kind of peace that comes after a decision's already been made. "Is there someone else?" I asked, barely above a whisper. Her lips parted, then pressed shut again. "No," she said finally, though the pause said everything. "It's not about someone else. It's about us, about how I don't even recognize who we are anymore." The clock ticked between us like a slow countdown. I wanted to fight, to remind her of what we'd survived. The broken car, the early mornings, the apartment that smelled like burnt coffee and dreams. But my throat locked up. I just sat there, a man watching his marriage unravel one thread at a time. Then she stood. "I think it's best if I stay with my sister for a while." That was it. No screaming, no blame. Just a quiet exit disguised as space. I nodded because I didn't know what else to do. "If that's what you need." She packed lightly, no suitcases, just enough to make it real. I watched her zip the small bag, every sound sharper than the last. At the door, she hesitated. "You don't have to wait up," she murmured. "I'll text when I get there." The door clicked shut. The silence that followed had weight, alive, heavy with everything left unsaid. I walked into our bedroom alone. Her side of the bed already looked smaller, like it had learned how to forget me overnight. I didn't sleep. Her words kept circling back. "I don't feel like we're us." What did that even mean? Was love supposed to keep reinventing itself? Wasn't staying, choosing each other again and again its own kind of love? By morning, the apartment smelled like her absence, lavender shampoo, fading perfume, the echo of warmth. I made coffee and stared at her empty mug. My phone stayed silent until noon. Made it to my sister's. "Don't worry." 2 lines. That was all. From the same woman who once sent pages about her dreams. I didn't reply. I couldn't. But when the ache finally settled into something quieter, not peace, but resolve, I realized I couldn't let her leave without knowing. So I drove. Not fast, not reckless. Just steady, 20 miles of thinking, of practicing words that didn't sound like begging. When she opened the door, surprise flickered in her eyes, but no anger. "Evan, I told you I needed space." "I know," I said softly. "But I have to say something first." She folded her arms. "Evan, this won't change anything." I met her gaze, hands trembling, but my voice held steady. "3 words," I said. She blinked. "What?" "I remember us." Her brow furrowed. "You what?" "I remember us," I said again, slower this time, like a promise I still believed in. "It wasn't just the arguments or the silence. I remember the way you'd hum while boiling pasta, the way you'd wake me before your night shifts just to say goodbye, even though I never remembered it in the morning. I remember how we used to talk about the future, like it was already promised to us." She looked away then, eyes glistening but distant. "Memories don't fix what's broken, Evan." "I know," I said, stepping closer. "But forgetting does worse. And that's what we've been doing, isn't it? Forgetting the small things, replacing them with pride, with distance." She didn't answer. The silence hung heavy again, but this time it wasn't final. It was waiting. I'm not here to beg, I continued. If you want to go, I'll let you. But you should know this before you decide it's over. You think the love is gone because it doesn't feel like it used to, but love isn't supposed to stay new forever. It's supposed to survive the moments when it doesn't. Her lip trembled, and she lowered her gaze. You make it sound so simple. It's not, I said with a faint smile. It's work. It's choosing the same person, even when it's not easy. I stopped showing up for you, Emma. I thought being steady was enough. But you needed to feel seen, to feel like you still mattered. And I failed you there. For a long moment, she didn't move. Then she whispered, You think it's just that? No, I said softly. I think it's everything. But I also think it's not too late. She turned toward the window, her reflection trembling in the glass. You really believe 3 words can fix what's been breaking for years? I hesitated. No. But maybe they can remind you why it's worth trying again. She stood still, back to me. The room held its breath. I could hear her slow, uncertain breathing. Finally, she turned around, eyes glassy, voice barely a whisper. You always do this, she said. You say the one thing that makes it impossible to hate you. I laughed quietly, half relief, half exhaustion. That's not my plan, I said. I just wanted to remind you that we're still in here somewhere, beneath all the noise. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time in months, I saw something I recognized. Not love, not yet, but memory. Evan, she said, shaking her head. I don't know if I can just walk back in and pretend it's okay. Don't, I said quickly. Don't pretend. Just start again. Come home, not because it's easy, but because it's real. Tears slipped down her cheek before she could stop them. You make it sound like we can just start over. I smiled faintly. We can't start over, but we can rebuild. She took a step toward me, then another. The space between us dissolved until she was close enough for me to feel her warmth. She leaned her forehead against my chest, her shoulders trembling. For the first time in years, I held her, not to keep her, but to let her breathe. Neither of us spoke. The world outside kept moving, cars passing, birds calling, but inside that little apartment, time stopped. When she finally pulled back, she looked up at me. You remember us? She asked quietly. I do, I whispered. Do you? She hesitated, eyes searching mine. Maybe I'm starting to. Something inside me eased. Not victory. Not relief. Just hope, fragile, imperfect hope. Later, we sat on the same couch where she'd told me she wanted to leave. The air felt lighter. We didn't have a plan. We didn't need one. We had a moment of truth, and that was more than we'd had in months. She reached for my hand, almost shyly. Her fingers fit like they always had, a reminder that some things don't vanish, they just wait. I'm not saying this fixes everything, she said softly. I'm not asking it to, I replied. I just want to remember how to love you again. She smiled through her tears. Then maybe we start there. Outside, the evening light slipped through the blinds, painting gold across her face. For the first time in months, she really looked at me, and something stirred again. Not the rush of new love, but the steady heartbeat of something rediscovered. Something earned. Sometimes the words that save everything aren't I love you, or I'm sorry. Sometimes they're just I remember us. And that night, for the first time in a long time, we finally did.